Interdimensional line screens in position calculations. Try to understand what's going on with line center interference. See this light here? See what it is? Position location directions is all about how to travel through it. Vortex communication interference line position location directions. You could be square, you could be triangle, you could be circle, you could be star, you could be rectangle, you could be an octagon, you could be a hexagon, you could be a triathagon, you could be communication of. We have a line center interference in calculation and locations. Try to understand that it is position, location, and directions. Now, your sun is in line center of code system. Now, it's position, location, how you use your solar plexus. It's the power generation to its position. It's the center operation, everything to your space communication system. So you have to understand all line centers. Now, you try to understand that the sun is in position, location, all levels from inside conditions. This is the sun. But you're probably thinking, how is this the sun? It's not a sphere. It's all digital pad. It's a computer. Interesting. Well, what do you think the sun is? It's all digitalized. Computerized position of operation. Now, the intricacies in high sliding rotation interference position locations analog centers. The analog line center and line rotation interference position location of direction is truly how your digital pads are set up in sequence, positioned to its location when it comes into letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. Today, you guys are going to travel into your sun operation of birthing locations. It's very powerful when you come into that connections, how we merge into its system, circulation, rotation to its position of time. It has its philosophical location. It has its psychological line connections of its understanding. It has its shape, position, locations, all levels of geometry interference. Remember, everything in position travels. You travel. The sun travels. The moon travels, right? So this is where you understand your Merkaba can turn into the sun. You become the sun. You become the moon. You become anything that position, location, or transformation. But the only way to understand that is to have the friendship of its calculation, times calculation over line center interference of factory communication line system with manufacturing line streams. It's all levels and how you calculate and modify all levels of E3 GODs. We've been down this road before. It's like going down memory lane, trying to understand this, but not understanding that yet. So I think I need to work on this because this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because you're allowing it not to make sense. So it's like a switch. And I'll say this again. See that circuit location? Now this has got 4-point centers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can see the position, location, directions. But if you look at the left line center, that's a line strip. That's light in position, location of dark. In high center interference. Hold on a second. Okay, schools has its attributes, locations, and its identification line stream. How fast you speak is extremely powerful when you come to digitalized centers, interference, location, and calculations. Code signals, factoring line center interference, sun code line system location. Sun recognized position locations. Now, it's all about balancing the frequencies of space from inside of you. You don't look up. That's not space. Space is here. Space is here. Space is here. Space is here. And space is here. And space is here. Space is inside. Okay. So understanding your 12 lines of position and understanding your 12 locations of position, you understand the 24 sequence patterns, communication. To really understand the sun is understand you through travel. You have to learn how to travel through light in position, location, and directions. It highs signals to balance the frequencies to its core to its equation times pi line center and interference location. All levels of sun communicate line center interference location to calculations. Set course line channels and communication code weaving. So one could be doing this line system and one could be doing this line system. Right? It's amazing how it bounces this communication system. You got 5 two thumb line centers, 2 position location of triangulation, all cross line connections of a honeycomb line stream. Now that position location opens all line, okay? Coming into your sun line puts you into a solar plex division line system. Your position is all levels, how you use your track locations to your Merkabahs, your tesseract, your tetrahedron, your octahedron, the octagon line center. In rotation interference locations off calculations, setting course of its position location of its directions. So you communicate to the sun to get back and track center location, right? So allocate timelines. Now I'm communicating to the sun. The sun is rotation. So your voice lowers. Communicate to my sun. Back up to the moon. So it's all about lines of communication. Having that friendship gives you providence, guidance, and line signals to location, how to use your geometry settings. You have to understand the foundation location communication system, or you're going to be off track, off bounds, off calculated. Modified location is your simulation graph. In position of direction is trying to understand how you use yourself through your own core. Your position location is in line center. The stomach line center location is position. Now, truly understand that the space inside you is expanding through its bandwidth. It's trying to understand the recognition line center location of its column line. Now, if the sun is off position location, but the moon is in track location, the 2 vector line interference, where's the sun location? So the sun's trying to communicate to the moon, but the moon doesn't understand the sun. Well, that's position off track location because you're already confused that line connections. So you're not traveling, you're modifying, and you're confusing your location of mistrusting your line system position locations, all levels of passion to its travel line system. Passion, travel. Okay. So when you get into that position locations, all right, sending line communication interference, put position as the code signal line center and interference location of the sun. Position of direction location, trifactor line factor communications. All right. Going into the hydro line centers. Now, a hydro line center is going to open all line position locations to your sun lines, that communication computer interference, wire line center interference location, hydro communication system, position of program settings, set line conditional levels of sectors, vectors, quadrants, on line center, interdimensional locations to eternity one line center rotation interference. Trial position location calculation. Travel locations, 30 minutes on the clock. Have fun. Setting position of direction is truly understand how we set signals to this online connections. Really understand how to use your inhibitors. A inhibitor line channel is how you use your direction location, your voice grids. Central communication system, truly understand the moon only understands you through energy, vibration, frequencies, and harmonics. It doesn't see you in any way else. So the recognition of space and time is already calculated and modified through its singularity of its simulation. You truly have to understand each dimensional line. You start with a one-dimensional line, the 2 dimension, all the way up to 12. That's your 12 DNA right there. There's 7 bodies of water, and there's 5 atmospheres that you have to understand. And it's all calculated and modified inside of you through its trajectory. The communication to its motivation line center interference gives you the activation stream. Now, the activation stream puts you in all levels of your activity line center locations, your meditation graphs, your simulation graphs, your modification line interference, your position location of calculations, all levels of digital line center interference location calculation. It puts division in rotation centers into 2 vector line centers in position locations, 2 here, 2 here. That's 4 channel line centers, 4,000 locations, 4 million position locations into 4 zillion line trap location line center interference. In position location, the levels of 4 fingers and 4 line centers in position location direction. Signal high center and communication system. Now, all line center and signal line and rotation is all let in calculation. Position. Now, the signal location to the sun sets line connections, right? The sun can be anything through shape line communication, right? Sun line communication lines. Now, you got a box position location of directions, right? Now, the T reception doesn't come in until you understand line centers and dimensional setting. Let's say you're in a 7 equals wave equals teleportation to communication, a computer line equals location of its equation, okay, equals division, okay? This is this. This is this. It has to be the balanced communication system. So the 7 wave in channels, the 7 comes into the center line center, the equal line center location. It comes in above location 2 in the next 1,000 sets position location and directions. High channel line center interference of its self-line communication system, all right, comes in line center. All line position location, all line position location, right, coming into triangulation. Position of directions, all right. Weather, water, communications, and to anything through spectrum light is communication. Now, you have to truly understand how to equalize the calculation of its teleportation, of its communication, or its computer, of its operation line system, of its dimension. Now, understand everything through this equation is understanding how you use all of these inside of you. And you're thinking that, well, if it's not math and line center, what does the map represent to me in position, location, directions? Your simulation. You're trying to get from A to B. Or you're trying to get from A to B to C to D. Or you're trying to get from A, B, C, D, E, F. What's after that? G. So forget about going through all that and just go from A to G times pi. You see how that works? So if you go for an alphabetical stream interference, you can vortex jump. Okay, let's go through A, B, C, D. Now you have to understand, why does it go A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, not A, B, C, D. It never goes in line signal of position location of balanced position location calculations. The balance of ABC is the 26th letter. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, or Z, right? It's a wave, alpha wave, beta wave, calculation, interference wave, dimensional wave, communication of an energy, line conditional levels in positions to your diamond core equals line center velocity communication to its diamond position location, all levels to its calculation in line center location of your octahedron, tetrahedron, or communication system to a high system location in Merkaba. So it's amazing when you understand more, especially for the new viewers, to really understand the platitude division locations of 3, 6, and 9. You just have to learn how to balance the frequencies and everything that you do from perception location. So once you understand the harmonizations of you, it's harmony on its own. Okay? Once you understand the harmony, then you understand the rhythm patterns, like music notes, like na 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 na. So it changes program, right? It goes up and it goes down. It goes side, it goes back, it goes forward, it goes up, it goes down. That's what light's all about. It's a continuous flow, okay? But what you have to understand, anything in nature never, ever goes in the same direction. It never goes in the same direction. And that's the true understanding when you have to understand the altitude. You ever wonder why you're in the alphabetical stream interference and why the waves go up and down and not just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I? There's no rhythm. There's no harmony. There's no music. There's no note. It's just stagnant. Right? So there's a competition on that own because you have to have friendships with your alphabetical stream system patients, your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. If you get a swirl line center, now swirl line interference location calculation, Fibonacci sequence locations, and you got an A line center interference. A line center location equal line center location, atmosphere equal line center location, all levels in position and direction. Triangulation. All through A, through Fibonacci sequence. So that Fibonacci sequence will go like this. One goes in, one goes out, one goes in, one goes out, right? You're always going to find the in and out of everything through rhythm pattern. And that's why it's so important, why A, B, C, all the way to Z and Z has to be up and down. It can't be one straight line. It's very powerful. A, B, but I'm going down. So you can change it anyway. It doesn't matter. Even if I go down, it still goes up. Telepathy interference, locked in sequence, back locking, forward locking. So you balance the communication to the rhythm pattern. The synchronous interference location, the coloration line center interference location opens all communication. Sun, position, location, direction, vector, communication line center, dimensional line center interference calculation. That line center interference location opens all communication line connection, position of code line center, digital frame location, the codes of position location of binary center line interference connections. Now, the line signal in position of direction is where you're going through the atmosphere line connections if it's alpha wave. Alpha equals line center location delta. Delta equals location on line center beta. Beta communication line center position back into the atom line center rotations calculation. Setting signal locations all levels of theta communication system. Ooh-ah. Triangulation high system. Done. There's the V line center. There's the flux capacitor location. Ooh-ah. Done by equation. Now, you get that tingles. And the tingles is extremely powerful when you come in position location directions. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm talking so fast. Is because I'm energizing everybody in position location directions. We got 64 line centers. Those are sequence, pattern, location, teleportation, music, all levels of different Merkabah communication, vibration, interline, individual, locality, condition, division. Now, inline center interference, if I talk really fast and it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't matter. It's going to your avatar. I could say blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. It doesn't matter. It's vibration. They catch it up. Oh, energy light center interference location, alphabetical stream, delta line center, communication, all levels. The allocate line stream in position locations, back in calculation, interference location, the Merkabah. Merkabah is in tesseract high system calculation, high system location position. So it's true understanding that it's all levels of view. It's the number sequence location of patterns. So understanding that 12 line center in rotations, okay, 12 positions equals 26. I was saying, how is 12 equal 26? Well, the position location all levels comes into position when it comes into all levels of its airline communication of your diamond core, right? So 12 equals line center diamond core, northwest, south, and east line center interference, fluctuation locations into 3 line channels and 3 line channels position location directions. Opens all signal line center interference. Remember, the number sequence is no longer numbers. It's turning into a story of a graph line interference position location of direction. It's high channel line center location. So 12 is no longer 12. 1 is no longer 1. 2 is no longer 2. And anything that 2, position of 6 is no longer 2 or 6. Okay? So you turn 2 in position, direction, location, and positional levels of travel. So when that travels, sets up its own grid line center interference location and calculations. Road graph line center of hologram structure. Position locations comes downstream line center to a structured building communication system, hologram line center location, to graph line connection. Position and direction. Now, that's why it's so important to understand how to use the 12 lines into position to your 24. So once you're in a 24, you're balanced in rotation of center line communication to all position location of travel, line system location position, right? So that 24 high rise is in the high center locations and 3 weighted system locations. Once a channel is lined in rotation, you can travel locations. You take the 24 line center interference, you take another 24 line interference, another 24 line interference into 1, 2, 3, 4 triangulation, all in calculation. Now that line signals into all realms in communication system, opens up all dimensional door lines, inner line center rotations to, you guessed it, XT1000. Position of directions. Okay? So it's very powerful when you set signals to a 24 line screen. Once you get into line screens, you get into more levels of how to use the alpha, delta, data, beta, theta, and omega communication. Omega is a very powerful position, location, directions. But the energy light and the communication, the sun, is the solar plex location. It's the center operation of you to line connections, right? How to use your 12 DNA line centers is determination on you through your code locations. It high positions to your directions, right? So you got 24 outline signals, 24 input and position locations of its communication system. Allocate timelines and interference location of moons and position locations. So the sun can be in 3 different positions of 24, 24, 4. And also the moon can be in 24, 24, 24. Do you understand that? The sun and the moon have to be in balanced position location to its number sequence, or it's off balance, off calculated, off grid. All right? So it's important you understand how to use your digital coding line and rotation calculation to code weaving. Position locations, all levels, comes into a high-line center interference of flywheel communication system. Allocate time strain interference, a clock and location line condition position and direction. Now, inline center interference in locations is trying to stand when I talk fast, it's going to everybody's avatar right through vibration. That's what it is. General speaks general. So that position location comes into vibration. 1, vibration 2. Okay, 2 vibration 3, 3 vibration 4, 4 vibration 5. High signal in position. You can change the colors and path, high interference, indirect locations, high channel. It puts a better position, location, and directions, guys. It's a lot more fun when you understand line signals. All right, opens all communication system to its position and directions. All right, it's incredible force when you understand timelines, high position, location, and calculations, changing line centers. All formation, all right, inline connections. It's incredible when you see these things all through light communication system, all through vibration line connection. Okay, so the correlation line center interference is all about the Schumann resonance, how it sets signals in position, location, directions. Now, it doesn't matter what I say, it's how I say it, and that is determination locations. So let's say we connect to all levels of Airbender wave and system location, alpha channel communication line center, set up a data wave communication of theta position to balance communication line streams, set up crop circle location, all levels, navigation, high signal, and flight navigations and flight command. Done. Now, he should know his determination of what I just said through vibration. Has nothing to do of what I said. It's how I say it through energy. Okay, and it goes also with connections with flywheels of Chris communication system, allocate time interference location Egypt, highline center interference location and calculations, crop circle line center locations. Let's start off line center location Denver communication of vortex communication line system, open up tunes communication of I-line center interference location of levels into Vega communication system. So in that direction, Chris as Aztec should know exactly what the vibration is that's given to her to track location. All right. So it's very powerful when you connect to all levels. It's understanding the energy track lines. We got into that line center interference, knowing exactly what you're connecting to, that position directions. Okay. And high channels, it's line center. Okay. So it's interesting to look at these things. How the particle stream looks in so many level locations, right? So if I keep doing this with my finger, what am I doing? I'm traveling up and down through vibration, but it's a rhythm, pattern, location, and coloration. That's all it is. But if you look really, really close, you can actually see what's in the center line, right? So it's kind of like foggy. It's like coming in and out line center interference and position, location, directions. You can even change the color. Okay, it's amazing when it spurts out. Mutation line streams in position directions, right? It's incredible when you create these things, the mind line center interference. It opens all communication to space line communication system, right? So as I keep going, it gets faster and faster if the particle lights change. You have to understand how to recognize position locations, all levels, and how your sun was created line center. It's incredible how you change colorations of time and any line center interference. Let's say we go into blue line center interference. Okay, so blue's coming in. Okay, so we got red, black, and blue. Now you can see it's coming into the galaxy line, right? So when you create these things, it's incredible force because this is all calculated through the eyes. It communicates to the line center interference, and you come into a visionary line in rotation to its illustration, to position location, to its theta wave or communication system, to timeline center of interference, to its eye receptor. Look at that. See? Use to your imagination what it is, the correlation, right? That windows and system lines of shifting interference location your eye receptor lines. This is communication because this is your sun line. This is the sun traveling from here to here. So many speed line centers and interference location and calculation. Your sun adaptates in so many cycles. Your sun mutates in anything through formation location. It travels on any line center location to its alphabetical stream interference, clocking system, dimensional time, inline center interference, paradox, paradigm, polar shift, polarity shift, high center communication system, pillars of light, pillars of triangles, pillars of shapes, geometry line center, inner rotation calculation, computer adaptation interference, in position location direction. It doesn't matter. You travel wherever you want to travel. You become the full communication of operation, right? You can just keep going and change the color, right? It's trying to recognize position of what you're doing through the line system. Let's go into some gold. Now, let's say I change the frame and it changes the directional locations to the actual sun line. And then you're going to see the true coloration. It doesn't show its true system until you understand the relationship of its communication system to its position of its directions to all levels of friendship, relationship, and partnership location. Right? There's your sun. Right? Right? So you can see the coloration. You can see the adaptation. You can see the computer line streams. Now, once you understand that line center, we automatically come into laser line interference. We set up road grass center position location directions, right? Comes into the galaxy stream. Galaxy streams comes in all coloration of a rainbow. Reset line center location is all behavior location. So it's very powerful when you connect all lines of color, color formation to its position of time, sequence interference location and calculations, changing position location of directions, setting new signals of panels of communication of laser of communication system, time calculations, time lines, right? Rotation center interference. So it's very powerful when you see yourself where location line conditions. So that gives you a better trajectory location of travel. How to set signals is all towards you in position location of direction. Z-graph line conditions, right? Point dot here, point dot here. So this is what you're protecting or what you're creating through your data stream, your process communication center, your Omni highway information system, communication line conditions, right? So you're protecting this, right? See the lines? So in line center interference, the XT1000 travels right through, right? See, it comes right out of the portal. Sees what you're doing, scans this position, 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 and scans this position before you get started, right? See the triangulation? Now that comes into position location to its line condition. Once you understand how to set line signals, then you see the sky graph line center interference. It position locations and opens all levels of point locations, right? One dot to another dot has its dimensional line center. Now, each dot represents its all levels. It comes into the alpha line. Okay, alpha line communication of delta communication to its theta line communication of all levels of video graph line connections. Or the sequence pattern is not in position of directions. I get a recourse, rechannel back into the sun line to its communication of its moon, vector line streams into line center rotations into colorations of 1 million of high center of acceleration times sigma z times pi, manufacturing high line center rotation in position of direction. So once you come into that, you set purple points, right? That's position of the crown chakra. That sets course lines in triangle location and position of direction, setting new line signals and map equation to interference, right? one dot to the next dot line, center line, and rotation calculation. If you look really, really close, you can actually see the intelligence. Looks like a glider, but you can actually see the body. See the body? See the eyes? See the face? Right? So if you look at intelligence and where it's supposed to be, you actually can see it in all formation. See? That's how it works. So the sun sets up the lights and the moon sets the program. But you need the sun and the moon to communicate with each other, right? Because that's what creates light and dark. Light is never separated from dark, and dark is never separated from light. But see, light and dark is yin and yang of both process one stream. It's not two streams, it's not three, it's not four, it's not five. It's only one. So it's going so fast in communication system. It sets recourse channels of digital lining. Okay? So it's very powerful of what you're doing to modification. Open up simulation line streams. Now, we reference on communication line. We know exactly what we're doing through Northline communication system. Allocate timelines. Okay. Coming into red channels of triangle line connection. Right? Red channels. Well, if that's a triangle, where's the red channel? The red strip. So the red strip is a vibration line center. Atmosphere position location equals line center locations, all levels of its atom line system, right? In position locations comes into all line centers. Times pi, okay, in direct location in high system. Now that direct location is all levels. Factor over, okay? Factor over through communication. So your zip zap zooming. High center line conditions, zip zap. So the position location, XD1000 comes in, channels its line center interference, road graphs its system location, setups a new line center location of its map sequence line in rotation, coming into a new communication of a new grid climbing system. Okay? All through alpha of equals line center of atom on position location directions, through a triangulation of red channel of communication. So there's a lot of things you have to understand how space is set up inside of you. It's all construction. Really stand to your point locations of your system. A point location here, a point location here. And it's all about putting, kind of like putting the dots together, putting the pieces together of your puzzle. So you're just trying to rectify what is going on with you and how to process all the information that is given to you through letters, numbers, shapes, symbols, colors, lights, triangles, anything through number sequence. Now we got that pattern inference location to calculations, setting recourse line centers, all of the position locations for communication, right? Now this doesn't look like much, but that's the integration location calculations. 4444. There's 4 communication line streams. So it's really interesting when you look at the aspects, how things work in space inside of you. It puts panels on communication line streams. So we set panels on communication, line strips in the rotation. It's really interesting. Line strips in the center line. Okay. So this separates all line position of space communication. All right. Weaving line centers modify high interference location of calculations. All right. The course of view is true to understand the line signals. All right. Course equals line signal. Okay. Course equals line signal. So this here is this. This formula is this, all through coloration. So I'm trying to think that if you understand your position locations of 4 lines in direction locations, you understand all signal to its position, because these are 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's 5 in position, right? So 5 line centers in location is vector communication of 5 center position. 5's at the top. Sets course line center location, all levels. Collaboration line centers comes in position location equals friendship, relationship, and partnership, FRP. Okay. Now that course, its line center opens all communication of coloration to its equal line. Equal line is calculations. Equal equation is the bounce line stream. in position location. So once you reach 5 lines, it bounces communication of 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay, it's very powerful when you come in that line center. Puts you better in a better directional location to calculations, setting new signals in plateau and high interference. It puts directional location to its calculation, setting signals in force line communication system. Putting directions, high channels, high coloration to its high system. So, getting that modification line center circles its line center interference, position of directions. Right now, you're probably thinking this is so complicated. What is he talking about now? Remember, it's not what I'm saying, it's how I'm saying it through vibration. So it's just the avatar has to understand these things. I understand the vibration line stream now. I understand the data processors. I understand the upgrades and downloads now because general is speaking general, right? All through vibration. Okay? Vibration and high center interference is all calculated and modified through you. How you use it is totally your determination. You setting signals in all line connections puts you in a better plateau, right, to all connection. It all formulates. But I love doing the position locations of the triangle because it gives you a better perspective of what it is inside line. Because it can travel locations into center position, or it can travel locations of outer position, okay? Or it can travel back in position location to set up a new line center, all right? Or you can go out again and put up another position location energy field. See what I'm doing? I'm going back and forth. But what I'm doing is I'm creating position. See, that's how it works. So it's all about you creating structure. You're putting all levels of visionary board together, all through your thoughts. Your thoughts are in a visionary line. So line center and position location becomes its vision. Vision stays on the top line. Calculation on line in rotation equals line conditions to its equation. Okay, now that line centers in rotation sets up a ground line in position to its high system, right? Opens all communication to, you guessed it, its Merkaba. All right, there's so many ways to set up a Merkaba position of teleportation unit. The travel line center is the velocity channel. Now, the velocity channel could be in position, location, directions in 4 waving cycles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Setting sonar interference, position, location, and directions. High channel is its high center. So you understand the sun I'm communicating through me is all levels of its position, location of acceleration, mocking position, location of directions. It's a vortex chamber communication system, all levels of its Merkaba position. Hooah. So it's very powerful when you understand what you are doing in the first place. Setting up a visionary board, how to use the geometrics, how to use the geometry of foundation, and how to use all levels of calculations, right? It's all levels of operation of direction, guys. The geometrics, the geometry, and the geographical system. Okay? 3 waving position, location, and directions to get what you want through manifestation. So you really have to understand the formulas. All right, I really want to get that because we're coming into another quiz. And you never know with general what's going to happen. So it's important you understand how to set up new sequence pattern. A sequence pattern is trying to understand line connections. You got 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, 5 line, 6 line, 7 line. There's 7 lines right there, right? 3 different wave line position locations. There's 1 line. There's another line. Oh, it's gone over cross location. What just happened? What just happened from here to here? This is staying in the same lane. This is offline. So if this is offline, this is going to trickle down and affect everybody's line connections to its program setting of position. See what it does? You stay in your own lanes. Because if you don't, it affects everybody through travel, through navigation. All right? Hooah. Just to make that very well clear. So getting in that position, you understand what is going on. Yeah, exactly. Wave signaling crossing. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. See, the team knows these things because they understand the aligned centers of what it is through all levels of insight location of them. You're understanding your waves, right? So there could be an atmosphere change. Atmosphere equals change. Now, that slash its communication to its velocity equals box. Box comes into the center line communication, right? So the atmosphere is in the center, the communication in position, location, and directions into all level of its position, location. It high channels its line connection, right? So coming into high line channel location capacitor gives you a better position of its activation. Okay. So circle line center interference of Fibonacci sequence one way or Fibonacci sequence the opposite way location sets a new tone in its structure of its simulation to its position all through travel. So this is what happens when you change the vector lines of escape line communication of its atmosphere line, changes everything through its communication, all levels of its velocity of its connection, right? So there's so many different ways to create anomaly. Space of view is anomaly on its own. Anomaly means a position of direction to change patterns, change numbers. 7's not supposed to be here, right? So we got 4 line centers of 7's. Now, there's 4 7's here. Which one's out of order? Which one's out of order? Your determination should know exactly where the avatar needs to be. Which one's out of order? This one's out of order. Well, why isn't it this one? Why isn't it that one? Why isn't it that one? Why is it out of order? Because you're not in your lane. The entropries, the acceleration lines, and position of direction is all modifying you. Staying in your own lane stays in position, location of direction. Stay in your own lanes. Okay? All right. So stay in your own lanes, put you in a better provision. Truly understand, okay, I understand the waves now. So it's like you're crossing signals. If you're going one way and another person's going this way, you're going to cross paths with each other. What are you going to do? A U-turn? Ooh, that looks like a 9. So truly understand the importance of travel because you're traveling every single day. And it's important you understand how to set signals in position of direction, right? All right, so I'm going to take you guys out of your sun lines of communications. All right. Yeah, there's a lot to be talked about, especially in the Q&A on Zoom. Increasing pressure and high center interference. Okay, let's get into our levels of attendance. Okay, Chris, how's it going? Jessica, Terry, Don, Jill, Amby, Gypsy, Pam, Val, Heather, Airbender, Johnny, Cami, JP, Chris. All right, Elaine. Okay. Just going through locations here. Saying some new people here. Okay. Try not to understand what I'm saying. Try to understand it through vibration. That's what school is all about, right? If I'm going to communicate with anybody, it's going to be through their connection, which is all levels of what's inside them, which is energy. That's all we consume of is energy, vibration, frequencies, harmonics. Just got to learn to balance the frequency. That's it. All right. That's amazing what you guys are going through. Get a better understanding why the sun is so important to you through construction, how it's in position, location, levels, how to reboot your sun, just the same thing you can do with your moon. Okay. So taking track centers on position, location, line interference. Perception line stream all lines. Take the team out in all lines, position, location, directions. Reset line channels. Reforce communication system. Put them back in track line center. Ground perception where they are through location. Now you're back. So it's interesting how we look at these things, how we set these things up. Imagination goes a long, long way. It's the known equals line connections to the unknown to phenomenon. Known to unknown to phenomenon. Okay? There's a triangulation right there. Okay? So in triangulation, we'll get more into that. How to communicate with the alphabetical system. If you get an A-B line center, A-B line center, A-B line center, A-B line center, A-B-C box line center. Okay? All in triangulation. If it's a triangulation, there's 3. Triangulation. 4, box. 5, rectangle. Okay? So you have to get into the invention of your creation of all levels of shapes. How many shapes are stored here in your position of your cloud, right? How to use it in all ways and forms through its connection. Because what you're doing is you are manufacturing, you're developing higher levels of teleportation. The more you go faster, the more you get your integration locations to your future. So, Alpha Bravo team line center box equations. Yep. That's it. It's a lot more fun when you understand what that is. So if you get an alpha, okay, alpha line channel, okay, equals line channel. Now you can do slash, but you have to understand when to put in slash. If you don't put slash in the right position location, it's not alpha. Okay. So the representation is to understand the relationships with A. The relationships with all levels of L, the relationships with P, the relationships with H, and the relationships with A, all in relationship with you, which becomes a full, complete cycle of partnership. Because you already got friends. The friends is, you know, the alphabetical stream. You just have to understand the code frequencies and how it connects all line connections. So A can be anything. We've gone through that before. A equals nothing equals everything in position of direction. Because A surfaces on so many level positions of all line connections of structure of hologram location. A is not A anymore, is it? It's split in 2 roadways. Look. See? A is not A anymore, is it? Right? You have to represent your position location and what it is. Okay? And the only way you understand that is how to use your connections to your sun. Your sun is light of travel. You have to learn how to travel through 24,000 light signatures. Well, that's a lot of travel. How do I do that? I just did. That's how fast it is. So to travel through these things is truly understanding the light of its system, how it communicates to you, right? Because you're always going to have light and shadow, always. So that is position of merging into one from the sun to the moon. Together as one. 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 You understand? Everything is one. All at once, simultaneously. One day is everything. Okay? So the position of nothing is the mind of emptiness. Okay? That's what it is. Mass of nothing is mass of everything. Massive nothing in here is massive everything in yin and yang. Multipass. So now you try to understand why it's so powerful of what you're up against every single day. Right? You understand the process now, why it's so important is don't create thoughts until you understand what they mean. Because once you understand what they mean, you're good to go. It's already traveled, but where did it go? It's your determination. You created it all through a visionary board. Right? And depends on where you are through your capacities. If you're in a 3,000 line position, location, calculations, your letters have already traveled location. You can have letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols created all through structure. And that's all it is. Because everything around you is nothing but structure of geometry setting. Right? That's why it's so powerful. There's no thinking in this in any way and form. As soon as you get into thinking, hesitation, anticipating. Oops, what did I do? Wrong division, backlocking. Forget about the forward locking. Let's just go backlocking. Let's see what happens over there. No. Too much thinking knowledge. This is what it is. It's not thinking of knowledge. It's knowledge of thinking. Ooh, wow. Knowledge of thinking. Knowledge of thinking. Being aware of its thinking, of its knowledge. So when you get the knowledge, you get in the process of thinking into higher levels of its awareness. Because there is a platitude division location in the calculations. So it's going beyond the position of direction location of stream. This is where you come into the known, to the unknown, to the phenomenon. Right? Knowledge is everything through memory. And the only way you can understand your memory is all through provision. No thinking. Only knowing and doing to its equation. Okay? All right. So I think that's good. I'll see you guys in Zoom. You got 20 minutes. All right?
20 minutes.
Adios.
Goodbye.